a body on the highway. James West, who lived just minutes away from the Lewisburg exit, got a call from his wife. She was on her way to drop their daughter off at school and had reached mile marker 18 on I-540 westbound. She informed him about a lady who may be in need of help on the highway. James hopped into his truck and rushed to the scene. Despite the rain, it took him only 5 minutes to get there. When he arrived, he found two other men already there, one in his car and another on the phone standing beside his car. James pulled up behind them and asked what was going on. They informed him that the woman was unfortunately dead. These men were fellow motorists who also spotted the woman. Shortly after, sheriffs would arrive to the scene, bringing with them EMS personnel and firefighters. The scene quickly became quite busy. The first thought was that she was a pedestrian that was perhaps struck by accident on the side of the road. The woman...
Salute to the chat, salute to the chat. Wait out, Black in the building. You already know what it is. Dealing with transformative content right now. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. Motherfucker gonna murder his wife and then dump her body on the side of the I-540 down south and then act like he was just totally surprised. Like, this is crazy. Like, we think that just being in the projects we see crazy shit. Nah, social media is scary. Social media, that shit show you every motherfucking thing.
The woman's body was positioned high up on the sloping area of the highway shoulder, almost as if it had been deliberately placed there for public view.
Angie, baby, salute. Sexy J, salute. Like, subscribe, and share. You heard what she said. You know what I mean, ladies? Like, I'm just bugging out because I'm cruising through YouTube when I got back in the crib. You know what I mean? And then I bump on this video, like, young black guy, young black girl. You know what I'm saying? They eloped and all that, you know, did what they did. College kids, you know what I'm saying? All that good shit. Get married. And then he murders her? The world is crazy, ladies. Stay safe.
Her legs were at the highest point of the slope, with her head positioned at the bottom, closest
Double V, peace.
to the highway. Both her arms and legs were outstretched, creating the unsettling shape of an X. As police...
Under the Copyright Act, I have total fair use of this video. This is educational and informative information. Ladies, y'all be safe out there. Know who you're sleeping with. Know who you're marrying. Know who you're dating. Know who you're bringing around your children. Know who you're bringing home. Know who, you know what I mean? Who you're letting your address out to be known by in your place of work. Because motherfuckers is crazy.
Police arrived on
Double V.
the scene. It became clear that her death was much more nefarious. It was clear she suffered multiple stab wounds about her face, neck, chest, and abdomen. This was murder. Law enforcement and representatives from the medical examiner's office moved quickly to drape her with a blue tarp and began their investigation. The woman was of black descent and appeared to be in her early 20s. The burning question on everyone's mind was who could have done such a thing and how did they manage to bring her here? Investigators combed the area for clues, questioning...
And why is her body so far from the vehicle? And why, Nikki, baby, salute, mama. You know what I'm saying? Why is her body so far away from her vehicle?
Motorists at the scene, but nobody seemed to have any information. It was a very busy
Thank you, NY Nikki.
Stretch of highway, and Darren Curtis, a young North Carolina State University student, found himself stuck in the unusually heavy traffic jam around 8 a.m. that morning. He had left home about 7:30 a.m. heading to his part-time job at Telecrest Tax, taking his usual route on I-64 and then I-540 West. As Darren sat in traffic with everyone else, he noticed...
Now, mind you, they live together. But they work in two separate spots. You know what I'm saying? They go to school in two separate... Matter of fact, Shorty, I believe, if I'm not wrong, she changed her whole school to be with this dude.
The congestion centered around a blue tarp on the highway embankment as he passed mile marker 18 and the Lewisburg exit. Something about it raised his suspicions, giving him an ominous, fleeting feeling. Deciding to investigate, he circled back for a second look and slowed down as he passed the blue tarp this time. About half a mile down the road, Darren's heart sank as he spotted a familiar white sedan on the shoulder of the Lewisburg Road exit. Panic set in as he pulled up behind it, recognizing the license plate and the plastic framing around it. It was his wife, Latrice's car.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine driving to work, right? Driving to work. You just saw your wife or just spoke to your wife a few hours prior. She doesn't come home. But then when you're driving down the fucking highway headed to your, you know what I mean? Headed to get the chicken, you see your wife's car pulled over on the side with the windows and everything busted open and a blue tarp on the street. Salute to the chat. Hit the like button.
Upon closer inspection, he noticed the car was a mess. The center console broken off, books scattered everywhere. He recalled taking pictures with Latrice back in November. Some of them were still on the back seat, intended as gifts for Christmas that never happened. After spotting what appeared to be blood in the doorframe of his wife's car, Darren grabbed one of the pictures and hurried down to the scene he had just passed. There, a deputy met him. He showed the picture, saying, "This is my wife, and that is her car. Please tell me that's not her under that tarp." But sadly, Darren's worst nightmare came true as detectives confirmed that the deceased woman was indeed his beautiful 21-year-old wife of 9 months.
21 years old, 9 months married. 21 years old, y'all. 9 months married, y'all. See, YouTube, these streets have you fucked up. YouTube streets have you fucked up and forgetting that it's a lot of real shit going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of real shit going on in the world. 35 in the chat. Make the lights even, y'all. Come on, let's do this. Appreciate you.
Latrice Curtis. And soon,
El Plaga, what up?
investigators would relay the devastating news to Latrice's parents. Born as Latrice Matrell to Sherman and Cynthia Jones on May 28, 1986, in Raleigh, North Carolina, Latrice was affectionately known as Treese by her friends and her 3 big brothers, Justin, Marlon, and Jason, as well as her sister, Shanisha. Latrice, a daddy's girl, was incredibly focused and driven to succeed. Not only was she stunningly beautiful, but she also had a magnetic personality that knew no strangers. Despite having new...
Yo, look at this beautiful little girl, man. Come on, man. Here you go. You marry this pretty young lady. You take her out of her home. You take her away from her family. You understand what I'm saying? And then you kill shorty. Ladies, be very, very careful who you're dating. Be very, very careful.
Numerous male admirers, Latrice remained focused on her studies, a commitment that paid off when she was accepted to Bennett College and Wake Tech. During her time at Bennett, Latrice crossed paths with a handsome and ambitious accounting major named Darren Curtis. The two hit it off instantly and started dating. Things progressed rapidly for Darren and Latrice, and soon they found themselves deeply in love. After just 1 year of dating, wedding bells rang for the couple. Darren appeared to be a respectable young man. He was a former National Guard member who...
Appreciate that, Sexy J. I mean, listen, man. Crips think about more than violence. Crips think about more than music. Crips think about more than money. Crips think about more than bitches. Crips think about more than everything. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised what a loc think about, you know? But, you know, the last couple of days going through the YouTube streets, they've been kind of wicked. So, you know what I mean? Trooper 6ix9ine was cracking. I had to talk about something else. I had to get my mind somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Who seemed responsible, mature, and grounded, but given the secretive nature of their nuptials, Latrice's protective father and brothers weren't quite warmed up to the idea of embracing Darren with open arms. Her father was traditional, and he wanted to be asked for his daughter's hand in marriage. However, after spending some time with Darren, the family's perspective changed, realizing Darren was a good guy after all. Following their nuptials, the new couple moved into their first apartment on River Shadow Court, and Latrice would transfer to North Carolina Central University in Durham to complete her business degree.
So she was from Raleigh, but she transferred over to Durham. I mean, she moved out there, transferred her school, the whole 9 yards, right? Switched everything about her, know what I mean? Switched everything out, you know what I'm saying? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wait out, Black. You already know what it is, man. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all stepping in for the live. If y'all came here for the bullshit, it's not here today. Know what I mean? Not today. Today we on something else, man. Social media will show you exactly how crazy the fucking world is, guys. Pay attention.
Like many young couples embarking on their educational and career journeys together, Darren and Latrice faced the challenges of spending hours apart, but always made sure to check in with each other. But in the early morning of January 30th, just 9 months into their marriage, a senseless act would rob them of their future, leaving
9 months married. Yo, Jess, salute, Rico Squad. On the whole set, I see you. Can you believe that shit, Jess? 9 months married, right? This guy, he woos her. They fall in love. He gets married. And then he kills her.
leaving their family in profound shock and disbelief. After delivering the horrifying news that the body under the tarp was indeed his beautiful wife, detectives began to console Darren as they continued to process the scene. But detectives were perplexed about how Darren, who they hadn't contacted yet, turned out to be one of the first on the scene. The question lingered. How did he coincidentally drive by just when the scene was unfolding? About half a mile down.
Now, y'all heard that, right? Did y'all hear? Am I bugging? Or did I hear what you just heard? You know what I'm saying? Remember, he was driving on his way to work. His wife didn't come home, he said. He was driving on his way to work. His wife ain't come home last night. And as he's driving, he notices her whip on the side of the fucking highway, bashed up, all that, whatever. Blue tarp on the ground. How the fuck did, is that coincidence?
In profound shock and disbelief. After delivering the horrifying news that the body under the tarp was indeed his beautiful wife, detectives began to console Darren as they continued to process the scene. But detectives were perplexed about how Darren, who they hadn't contacted yet, turned out to be one of the first on the scene. The question lingered. How did he coincidentally drive by just when the scene was unfolding? About half a mile down the road from the blue tarp, detectives would tape off Latrice's and Darren's cars, marking them as part of the crime scene. Detective Malinowski, arriving at the scene around 8:45 a.m., was tasked with photographing the area.
He was driving by. You heard, Jess? He was driving by. He said he was on his way to work. He said he spoke to his wife a couple of hours earlier into the night. You know what I mean? She said she was on her way home. She was going to pick up something to eat, but she never came home. He gets up, and now he's headed to work. And going down the I-540 down south, he sees his wife's car on the side of the I-mean. So he hops off the exit. He exits, he gets off the highway, gets back on the other side, comes back around.
Yeah, and both vehicles. Upon inspection of Latrice's Nissan Sentra, it was evident that a struggle had taken place. The detective discovered bloodstains in the door frame, prompting the collection of blood samples and touch DNA from the steering wheel.
So it's blood all inside of the whip. Wild country salute. Right, she never came home and he went to sleep. What kind of husband is that? What kind of husband is... Ladies, know who you're marrying. Now, I do a lot of bullshit. I put my wife through shit. But I ain't going to fucking bed if she ain't home.
In the passenger seat, she found a wedding ring set, a clump of hair on the floor of the driver's seat. A purse was situated on the floor of the right passenger side, and a pair of silver hoop earrings stained with
Benito, ¿cómo estás, primo?
Blood were discovered underneath the driver's seat. The car seat cover and the seat adjustment lever were also stained with blood, and then both vehicles were later towed for processing. Detective Malinowski measured and sketched the scene, while representatives from the medical examiner's office removed the tarp and conducted a visual examination of the body, noting a hair on Latrice's right breast. Upon closer examination, they discovered multiple stab wounds and 2 broken nails, indicating she had fought back. To preserve potential DNA evidence, her hands were immediately covered. Nearby, her shoes and a sock were scattered. She wore a white baby fat...
So hold on. So she's found dead, stabbed all up, right? But the body is somewhere else. And the clothes, clothing items are missing off the shorty body. And the whip is like, like a mile, like a half a mile down the road.
Jacket soaked in blood. When her body was turned over, they observed stab wounds that penetrated from the front to the back of her jacket. Even her bra was soaked, and her pink and white blouse, along with her jeans, were heavily stained. Although her jeans were pulled down, her underwear remained in place. At the scene, police found a cell phone and pieces of duct tape. They discovered a footprint and a tire track, so they took impressions of those. They also found blood on the cement of the highway. It was a grim scene that continued to affect traffic well into the afternoon. Latrice had endured nearly 40 stab wounds, indicating that this was a deeply personal and targeted attack. As a
40 stab wounds. Ladies, gentlemen, this little mother, he stabbed that young girl 40 times? Are you fucking crazy? He stabbed that girl 40 times. 40 times. I don't know if anybody's ever stabbed someone. A lot of niggas be fronting like they have. The human body is thicker than a motherfucker. Trust me. When that knife go in, you got to push. To stab someone 40 fucking times? That's crazy. Rest in peace to that girl.
As the perpetrator cut her from her left ear to the right side of her neck, severing her carotid artery, jugular vein, Adam's apple, and vocal cords. The result was near decapitation. Multiple stab wounds were inflicted on her left shoulder, underarm, abdomen, and her chest, with 2 creating exit wounds on her back.
God damn. Salute, truth, lady. Salute, baby. That's just crazy, man. The world is crazy. You two think they crazy. Dark side think they crazy. Nah, it's crazy out there.
Evidence suggested that part of the struggle occurred inside her car, where the center console was broken and blood was discovered on the steering wheel. However, a puzzling question remained. Why was her car found so far down the road from her body? DNA found on her steering wheel and beneath Latrice's nails indicated a highly violent scene. Detectives sent the DNA evidence to the state crime lab for testing while they continued their search for a potential motive. Determined to unravel the truth, detectives turned their attention to Darren. They pondered whether he could be involved and was attempting to divert the investigation, and if he could have committed such a heinous act against his new wife.
Look at this young boy's face, man. Look at that young boy's face, man. Look at his eyes, man. Just look at him. Look at this baby, man. This a baby, man. People don't know what be inside of motherfuckers' minds, man. You know what I mean? People really don't know what be inside of motherfuckers' minds, man. That's why I don't want my babies going nowhere. This is like, so I don't want my daughters dating and moving in with niggas and all that too early and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because this nigga took someone's baby away, promised to take care of her, and then killed her. Sphinx was cracking.
The possibility of it being a random crime seemed unlikely given the intensely personal nature of Latrice's death. Whoever was responsible for this act was driven by anger. When Detective Brent David arrived at the scene around 10 a.m., he talked to Darren. Darren grew increasingly concerned as he contemplated the possibilities of how the vehicle he had just seen could actually be his wife's. Detective
Empress, salute. Sphinx, you already know.
David determined that it would be best to continue questioning Darren at the police station that day. So the detective arranged for Darren to be transported to the station for further inquiry. There, Darren told police she had not come home the night before, and the last time he spoke to her was around 10 p.m. And according to Darren, during that conversation, his wife had called saying she was at the library and would pick up something to eat before heading home. Darren recalled...
Right, because she's a student at South Carolina University. North Carolina University, rather, Pawn Self. She was a student. So she says she was at the library. That's what he says.
Falling asleep around 11:30 p.m. and upon waking up at 6:30 a.m., he discovered she wasn't there.
Uncle Ralph, for those who just coming in the door.
Up something to eat before heading home. Darren recalled falling asleep around 11:30 p.m. and upon waking up at 6:30 a.m., he discovered she wasn't there. After calling her and receiving no response, he assumed she might have stopped at her parents' place. Believing nothing was amiss, he showered and ate his breakfast, intending to call her again when he got to work. According to Darren, he then tried calling Latrice's brother and then her dad.
So you didn't call the brother or the father or anyone else in her family the night she didn't come come home. You spoke to her at 10 p.m. That's his story, y'all. He spoke to her at 10 p.m. She never came home. He went to bed all at 8, probably smoked, whatever the fuck he did. Not continuing to call his wife, worried about his wife. Are you stupid? When my wife says she getting off work at 10 o'clock p.m., nigga, at 10:05, nigga, I'm calling her asking if she walked out the door. I want her to stay on the phone with me all the way until she gets home some days. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Yeah. So what? That's what I do. I do some fucked up shit, but that's one of the good things that I do, because I want to make sure my wife is getting back safe.
Her dad, but as it would turn out, she didn't go there. Darren recalled even calling his wife's pregnant friend, and no one had seen Latrice. So he decided to call 911 and make a missing persons report.
My wife goes to school out of North Carolina Central, and she did not come home last night. I talked to her last night. She was on her way home. She was in the car and everything. She hadn't showed up since.
Worried about where she could possibly be, Darren decided to pull the...
Thank you, Neymar, Nikki. I appreciate you and every mod there. Lady JJ as well. Thank you. I appreciate y'all hard work. I appreciate y'all just fucking with Wade. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just fucking with Wade. You know what I mean?
Pull the call logs of her phone since they were on the same account. To his shock, numerous calls were made well after his last conversation with her, extending beyond 11:30 p.m. However, one number stood out as repeated calls were exchanged. Some were just 1 minute apart. Intrigued, Darren dialed the number and engaged with the male voice on the other end. Questioning the voice, he asked, "How do you know Latrice?" The response came from school, but the voice...
Hold up. Let me hear that again. Let me hear that again. How did he get the phone?
Call logs of her phone since they were on the same account. To his shock, numerous calls...
Okay, so they on the same account. So, boom, he got into the account. Now he getting the call logs. So he say, look at his face, y'all. Does that look like a murderer to y'all? What do murderers look like? What do murderers look like? Does that look like a murderer to you? I mean, look at him. You know what I'm saying? It's a baby, you know?
Calls were made well after his last conversation with her, extending beyond 11:30 p.m. However, one number stood out as repeated calls were exchanged. Some were just 1 minute apart. Intrigued, Darren dialed the number and engaged with the male voice on the other end. Questioning the voice, he asked, "How do you know Latrice?" The response came from school, but the voice persistently inquired, "Is Latrice okay?" Nearing his wit's end, Darren proceeded to call the state trooper to inquire about possible accidents. There were no leads. So Darren would return to the scene. This time, as he passed the blue tarp, he noticed a sedan that looked like Latrice's on the Lewisburg exit ramp. He pulled up behind it, noticing it was a mess, with the center console broken off, books strewn about, and the pictures they took last November on the back seat. Darren then tells police he went around to the driver's side door to open it. There he observed blood in the frame, prompting him to immediately close it and head down to the scene. While Darren's account held a semblance of truth, the timing of his arrival at the scene coinciding almost precisely with the police raised suspicions. It seemed...
MD salute. Is that a coinky think? You know what I'm saying? You driving down the highway, you see a whole bunch of commotion, mad police and people stopping and looking. You see a body under a blue tarp, and you see your wife's car. Is that a coinky think?
Seemed too convenient that he happened upon
MD salute.
The site of his wife's murder just as law enforcement arrived. Despite his assurance that this was his regular route to work, detectives couldn't shake off the feeling that there might be more to the story. On the surface,
Pound town that like button, y'all. Pound town that like button was cracking. Y'all with the big Suvi. Pound town that like button. Let me see some lid dove.
Darren and Latrice appeared to have a harmonious relationship. However, detectives couldn't help but wonder if there were undisclosed issues brewing behind closed doors. As in many of these cases, it's the husband behind the crime. And Darren's discovery of the mystery man's late night calls to Latrice added another layer of intrigue. Could this be a potential motive for Darren to murder his wife? Despite the plausibility of Darren's narrative, detectives grew increasingly suspicious, so they would ask him to roll up his sleeves to inspect his hands and arms.
That's right, because it seemed like she was fighting somebody back. Remember, she was stabbed 40 times, y'all. Trooper 6'9" was good. Empress Kid was good. Skin and Bones was cracking. You know what I mean? She was stabbed 40 times by this young man right here. Ladies, watch who you're dating. Watch who your daughters are dating. Watch who your nieces are dating. Because you don't know what they look like. Like when you're in the hood, you know, they be like, yo, yeah, that's that nigga Toucan right there. Yeah, that nigga, you know why they call him Toucan? Because he carry two cans. You know what I mean? He be blaming shit. You know what I mean? This ain't that type of shit. This be sociopaths. This be the demon that's deep within inside of a motherfucker. This type of shit right here.
Then they requested he undress down to his underwear for photographs, and Darren willingly complied with the search. Detectives were looking for signs of a struggle, but Darren showed no indications of such injuries. The detectives persisted in their inquiries, delving into intimate details about Darren's marriage. They sought to understand whether he and Latrice faced any marital challenges. Darren swiftly denied any issues, emphatically claiming they were deeply in love. With no grounds to detain Darren further, the detectives released him for the day. But before he left, they asked for Darren's permission to search both his car and apartment 304, the couple's shared residence. Without hesitation, Darren replied, "Do what you need to do." In their pursuit of a murder weapon, signs of a struggle and trick.
Not once do they mention him crying. Not once do they mention him breaking down. You know what I'm saying? Not once do they mention that.
Traces of blood. Detectives applied luminol while searching through Darren's car and the shared apartment. However, their efforts turned up nothing that could connect Darren to the crime. As the medical examiner concluded the autopsy the following day, a startling piece of evidence emerged. They discovered a condom. It was still inside her body. This revelation intensified suspicions regarding the events leading up to Latrice's tragic death. When her body was discovered, her pants were pulled down to her hips, yet her underwear remained in place. The autopsy revealed no signs of sexual injury. The presence of the condom raises puzzling questions for detectives.
So this motherfucker wore a condom for his wife, or was she cheating with someone and the nigga caught her? Or, you know, like what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really wondering, like, what would make you stab this young girl 40 times? 40 times. Your wife, you've been married for 9 months. It had to be some cheating or something going on.
Shedding light on the possibility that Latrice might have been intimate shortly before her demise.
Ava Nicole, salute. Welcome to the chat. Don't remember seeing you before. How you doing? My name is Wader.
This in turn prompts the unsettling question, whose condom was it? And could a sexual encounter have precipitated the vicious attack? In light of the newfound evidence, detectives promptly issued subpoenas for Darren's and Latrice's phone records. Upon thorough examination, it became apparent that Darren's account of the events aligned with the records after all. He and Latrice last communicated at 10 p.m. the night before, and he did call her at 6:30 a.m. the next morning, and then around 8 a.m. he called her brother, dad, and friend as he recounted. However, their scrutiny revealed another startling revelation. A series of calls occurred with one number shortly before Latrice's murder, and that...
Now, he did say that he logged into the account, looked up the call record, because they shared the account for the phone numbers. You know what I'm saying? So he looks it up, boom, finds out who Shorty's talking to. He probably flipped, right? That nigga snapped, right? That nigga snapped. That nigga, you know what I'm saying? Because he said he calls the nigga. And him and the nigga have a conversation. They never say what the conversation was about, but he definitely called that number. So that's the number that she's referring to right now.
That number led back to someone named Stephen Randolph. But who on earth is Stephen Randolph? So, detectives immediately began looking into Stephen Randolph and his potential connection with Latrice. Stephen Randolph was a charismatic basketball player at NCCU who was capturing the attention of many young ladies with his good looks. As a senior at the university, he had been a key player on the NCCU basketball team for 3 years, harboring as
Look at niggas spinning balls on their fingers, pause. Yup. She was into him. That's what happened. So that's the, you know what I mean? She was fucking with the army nigga. He, you know what I mean? He did the National Guard thing. He working for a tax agency. This nigga here about to go all pro.
aspirations of establishing a professional career in the NBA. Stephen and Latrice initially crossed paths while attending classes in the same building. Over the recent months, their connection deepened. They frequently met to engage in conversations and study together. But just who is Stephen Randolph to Latrice? Well, detectives didn't have to search far because just 2 days after Latrice's body was found, Stephen voluntarily walked into the Wake County Sheriff's Office, eager to discuss Latrice's case. But he wasn't alone. Accompanying him was his roommate, Robert Reeves, a local pastor of a small storefront church in Durham. Detectives promptly ushered the two men into separate interrogation rooms. Wasting no time, detectives questioned Stephen. "How do you know Latrice?" Stephen replied, "We met back in September and had a few classes together. We're just friends who went to the movies, dinner before."
Rest in peace to Latrice. So this is the guy that, you know, maybe he liked her, maybe he didn't. They didn't say yet, but she definitely was meeting with him.
And talked over the phone. He acknowledged seeing her on the night before her discovery, stating they spent a casual evening together. However, when confronted with the phone records and the condom discovered during Latrice's autopsy, Stephen began to realize he'd better come clean. Stephen revealed that Latrice had visited him around 8 p.m. the night before, emphasizing that it had only been the second time she had been to his place there in Durham. Stephen described their intimate encounter as spontaneous, a moment that happened naturally between friends who often shared their problems. When asked if he used a condom, Stephen confirmed that he did, but he explained that the condom became lodged inside her, and despite their attempts to retrieve it, they were unsuccessful. He described walking her.
Whoa! Whoa! Yup. That nigga flipped. Yup. Shorty flipped the fuck out. You got something there looking like Magic Johnson and all that. You know what I'm saying? Basketball star and all that. And then you got homie from the National Guard and all that. This nigga here, with the, you know what I mean? About to go all pro. He was smashing his shorty. She said she was at the library. But she wasn't at the library. She ain't deserve to die behind that. But she wasn't at the library. You know? That's crazy. That nigga flipped. That's what happened.
Her upstairs to the bathroom where she tried again without success. Eventually, Latrice decided she would be much more comfortable handling the matter in the privacy of her own bathroom. Stephen continued, stating that he walked her to her car and they said their goodbyes. But before she left, he asked her to let him know once she safely arrived home. Then both he and Latrice left the house around 10 p.m. Following a 10-minute drive, Stephen said he arrived at his girlfriend Velma Newton's place. Stephen admits that shortly after he arrived there at Velma's, Latrice called him several times. The background noise was much too loud, so he says he went into the bathroom to talk. He said that Latrice expressed apprehension of possibly being pregnant. Stephen then tells detectives they traded many messages that night.
What? What? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Sexy J, the plot gets thicker. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Game over, Lady JJ. Word to mother. Word to everything. Hold on. So, supposedly, she only seen this dude twice. Hit the like button, please. This is great content. 55 in the building. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with the cuz, you heard? Let's get Suvi. Suvi gang in the building. Wait, our gang in the building. Salute to the mods. Salute to the fucking chat. Have a drink and roll up and smoke. This is crazy. This is crazy. So she moves from Raleigh to fucking Durham, changes colleges, get with this nigga. Somehow she meets the guy at her school, basketball star. The night before, she's discovered He has sex with her. The condom gets stuck. She leaves him 10:30 p.m. This is crazy. Who did it, guys?
Then detectives posed a pointed question. Did you kill Latrice? Stephen vehemently replied, no. He stated that he had nothing to do with her murder. So why was Stephen so evasive at first? Why was he not forthcoming about his intimate affair with Latrice? With one woman and two men now involved in this mystery, could her vicious attack have been incited by a love triangle? In their quest for answers, the police turned their attention to Stephen's roommate, Robert Reeves, who happened to be in an interrogation room nearby. Robert is a 43-year-old pastor, lovingly known as the bishop among his friends and the local Christian community. Pastor Reeves exuded poise, calm.
His roommate is a bishop that's 40 years old? What is this young man doing with a 40-year-old bishop living in the same crib? What's going on?
And an air of confidence throughout his conversation with the detectives. He had a charming presence and was working to establish his small
Code 33K, salute.
storefront church in Durham. His peers in the ministry viewed him as exemplary and committed to excellence in everything he did. Detectives would ask Pastor Reeves to recount how he and Stephen had come to know each other. Pastor Reeves would explain that they crossed paths at a car wash last summer. He said that Stephen said that he needed a job and a place to stay. He was impressed by Stephen, so he offered him the basement apartment in his house for around $300 a month.
He was impressed. Impressed. He was impressed. Chip Low, salute. 553, salute. Impressed. 40 in college? Exactly. What the fuck is going on here? I mean, no shot of, can't take nothing away from people trying to get their education. You know what I'm saying? But it's a little weird. You got a female. You got a dude that she knew from another town who went to the National Guard. They get married. 9 months later, she's dead. Turns out she was dealing with the basketball player, star nigga from the school that she just moved to, and nobody knows how she ended up on the highway.
According to the minister, Stephen moved into the shared home with his sister that fall. Seeking a deeper understanding of Stephen and Latrice's relationship, detectives probed the pastor about the events of January 29th. He confirmed that Latrice had indeed visited that evening, clarifying that she had come over to see Stephen. Pastor Reeves informed the police that on the night of the murder, he observed Latrice's car parked outside his house as he left around 8:15 p.m. to go to church. He said he returned home around 11:30 p.m. and didn't see their cars. During his interview, Pastor Reeves would also voluntarily disclose some things about Stephen's and Latrice's relationship that Stephen had not shared. He said that Stephen had confided in him, revealing that Latrice had called him around midnight, expressing a desire to take their relationship to the next level. Stephen, in turn, informed her that he preferred to have that conversation face-to-face. The bishop alluded that Stephen's relationship with Latrice might have been much more serious for Latrice than he was letting on. This fresh perspective undoubtedly left police to ponder whether Latrice's potential pregnancy and her desire...
potential pregnancy, talking about moving to the next level, that sounds like more than 2 times to me, guys. I don't know about you, but when you're young and you're spunky and all that, you know what I'm saying? You got the super sperm. Super sperm. You know what I mean? Like Meth said, right? So, I remember I had sex with a female twice, and she got pregnant. So it's definitely possible. But he said he had a condom on, and it was found in her when she was dead. So what's this pregnant shit about?
Desire for a deeper commitment could have served as a motive for her murder. Pastor Reeves continued to volunteer information about Stephen, sharing that Stephen kept a collection of knives and swords at home. Could an unwanted pregnancy have evolved into the ultimate obstacle, jeopardizing Stephen's potential multi-million-dollar contract? Was this a potential hindrance to the successful career Stephen had been diligently pursuing? Within the window of 48 hours since Latrice's murder, the quest to uncover the perpetrator became more complex. Despite the murderer remaining unidentified, the intricate details of the affair and remarks from Stephen's roommate hinting at his potential involvement added a new layer of mystery to the investigation. Stephen and Latrice's intimate encounter that left the condom inside of her, leading to the potential for a pregnancy, did not align well with Stephen's dreams of becoming an NBA star. And with the new intel of Stephen's sword collection, detectives are now considering Stephen as a suspect and Latrice's potential pregnancy as a potential.
I tell you one thing, police, boy, they some nosy motherfuckers. They start putting all types of shit together. Police? What? Everybody's a motherfucking suspect.
Motive to get rid of her. Armed with this newfound information, detectives obtain a search warrant for Stephen's car and residence. Detectives even searched the minister's storefront church, as Stephen had recently assisted the bishop with moving furniture in the space. But after hours of searching, detectives found no evidence of a struggle or a murder weapon. Again turning up empty-handed, the police decided to verify Stephen's alibi by bringing in his girlfriend, Velma Newton, for questioning. When Velma arrived at the station, she was specifically asked about Stephen's whereabouts on the night of January 29th. She stated that he came over around 10 p.m. and left around 1 a.m.
Now, this is the fifth person involved that's been brought in on this murder case of this young lady. She was stabbed 40 times. 40 times. One of you motherfuckers killed her. One of you motherfuckers killed her. Ava Nicole, salute. Thanks for the subscription. DBN was cracking. What's cracking? What's go with you?
Aligned with what Stephen had told police, but with the medical examiner estimating Latrice's time of death between 1 and 2 a.m., neither Velma's nor Stephen's alibis were foolproof. When questioned about...
She looking a little grimy. I ain't gonna lie. She looking a little grimy. She looking a little grimy. Yeah. Empress, look at Velma. Yeah, she looking a little grimy. Velma, you're looking grimy, Velma. I don't know too many black girls named Velma, but you're looking a little grimy there, Velma. You're looking grimy.
About Stephen's possible involvement in Latrice's murder, Velma adamantly stated that there's no way he could be responsible. According to her, he's not that kind of person. He's a great guy. When asked if she had any involvement in Latrice's death, she emphatically replied, no. Velma was adamant that they...
Velma's lying. Velma's lying. What makes him such a great guy? What do he do for you? He pay your phone bill? He bought you some Chinese food at school? What do he do? Pay for your books? What? He give you rides to the university? What makes him a good guy? He was cocking you down.
That they were both innocent. Velma's interview left detectives intrigued, and then she dropped a bombshell. She revealed that she believed the person responsible for Latrice's murder might also be targeting her. She told police that in October, she started receiving threatening calls from someone demanding her to end her relationship with Stephen. The caller threatened to break his legs and ruin his basketball career if she didn't comply. One night, after Stephen had visited her, he found all 4 of his tires slashed outside of her apartment. Then Stephen explained to her that earlier that day after school, one tire had been slashed, so he went to the gas station to fix it before coming over. Having all 4 tires slashed on the same night indicated to him that not only was he being followed, but also someone disapproved of his sexual partners.
Long Island was cracking. 4 slashed tires in the same day? That's really 5, because he got the first tire slashed, he went and got it fixed. Then later on that night, all 4 was done. So 5 tires in one day. He's about to get $1 million contract, y'all. $1 million. The bishop did it. Who did it? Who did it, guys? Who did it? Who did it? Smash the like button, man. Come on. I'm saying let's have, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy and all that, but let's play a game. Who do you think did it?
Velma informed detectives that merely 1 week after Stephen's tires were slashed in front of her apartment, she found her own tires similarly vandalized. During this unsettling incident, she received yet another threatening call from a blocked number. This time, she managed to record the call and shared the recording with the detectives. This information captivated the detectives. Could it be a mere coincidence, or were these incidents somehow connected to Latrice's case? Before delving too deep...
She looked grimy, right? Oh, let me look at her again. Hold on. Let's look at Velma. Look at Velma, y'all. Look at Velma. Look at Velma. Take a good look at Velma. I don't even like that name. Nope. I don't even like that name, Velma. I don't know what your full involvement was, but I think you're lying, Velma. Look at her eyes. Why is she looking that way? Look at her lips. She's grimy. She look mad grimy. Look at Velma, y'all. Yo, chat. Yo, chat. Blue hearts in the chat if you think Velma did it. Blue hearts in the chat if you think Velma did it. Remember, Velma, she was sleeping with the basketball star. The deceased was sleeping with the basketball star, too. The deceased is prettier than you, Velma. She was prettier than you, Velma. I don't know. You kind of got the funny neck going on. Got the little, kind of look like a parakeet a little bit. You know, you got the parakeet look like, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking funny in the face, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Mad attitude in the face, right? Right? 453, right? Mad crazy in the face looking. Yeah, look at Velma. Blue hearts, you think Velma did it? Y'all think Velma did it? Nasty work, right, Cole? You think Velma did it? I don't know. I still think the husband did it. Remember, it's the husband, it's the bishop, it's Velma, it's the basketball player. It's those four. It's crazy.
During this unsettling incident, she received yet another threatening call from a blocked number. This time, she managed to record the call and share the recording with the detectives. This information captivated the detectives. Could it be a mere coincidence, or were these incidents somehow connected to Latrice's case? Before delving too deep into speculation, a tip from Trooper Isaac Cooper took the investigation in a new direction.
Remember, that's Trooper Isaac Cooper, not our Trooper, not Trooper 6'9", Trooper Isaac Cooper.
Trooper Cooper informed detectives that at 1:30 a.m., while he was heading eastbound on I-540, he noticed a vehicle with flashing hazard lights. Activating his blue lights, he pulled up behind the tan vehicle. He initially believed someone might need assistance, only to realize upon closer inspection it was unoccupied. Despite intermittent rain, Trooper Cooper found the vehicle's window halfway down, the door unlocked, and the keys left inside. As he opened the minivan door, he could hear the chimes indicating the presence of keys. The opened driver's side door revealed dark clothing, a jacket with writing on it, a woman's green sweater, and a package of cigarettes in the cup holder on the passenger side. Shining his flashlight around the vehicle into the nearby wood line, he saw no one. After calling in the license plate, he messaged another on-duty trooper, questioning why someone would leave a car on the side of I-540 with doors unlocked, window down, and keys in the ignition. Trooper Cooper then spotted another vehicle with hazard lights flashing on the opposite side of the highway. It was a light-colored four-door sedan that seemed to match the description of Latrice's car. The license plate check for the minivan, which turned out to be a Chrysler Pacifica, revealed that it was registered to none other than Robert Reeves of
Good looking, Nikki, baby. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Durham, the pastor and roommate of the prime suspect, Stephen Randolph. This inevitably left detectives questioning why the minister was on the side of I-540 at 1:30 in the morning. The potential answer to this question would only turn out to be a Chrysler Pacifica. As he opened the minivan door, he could hear the chimes indicating the presence.
What is the bishop doing outside at 1-something in the morning? What are you doing, Bishop? What were you doing at 1-something in the morning, Bishop? You know what? I don't think Velma did it. Now I think the bishop did it. Now I think you did it, Bishop.
The opened driver's side violation. A tip from Trooper Isaac Cooper took the investigation in a new direction. Trooper Cooper informed detectives that at 1:30 a.m., while he was heading eastbound on I-540, he noticed a vehicle with flashing hazard lights. Activating his blue lights, he pulled up behind the tan vehicle. He initially believed someone might need assistance, only to realize upon closer occupied. Despite intermittent rain, Trooper Cooper found the vehicle's window halfway down, the door unlocked, and the keys left inside. As he opened the minivan door, he could hear the chimes indicating the presence of keys. The opened driver's side door revealed dark clothing, a jacket with writing on it, a woman's green sweater, and a package of cigarettes in the cup holder on the passenger side. Shining his flashlight around the vehicle into the nearby wood line, he saw no one. After calling in the license plate, he messaged another on-duty trooper, questioning why someone would leave a car on the side of I-540 with doors unlocked, window down, and keys in the ignition. Trooper Cooper then spotted another vehicle with hazard lights flashing on the opposite side of the highway. It was a light-colored four-door sedan that seemed to match the description of Latrice's car. The license plate check for...
I'm confused. If Trooper fucking Cooper seen all of this and knew all of that, right? Why wasn't the girl found until the next day, early in the morning, during early morning rush hour, on the side of the I-540? Was Trooper Cooper down with it too, Empress? Was it? Let me know. Sexy J, Lady JJ, tell me, what we doing, y'all? Suvi gang in the building. Hit the like button. Salute to everybody in the chat. I mean, what are we doing, chat? Trooper Cooper, the bishop, living with the ball player, you know what I mean? The National Guard husband, the deceased, Velma. I don't know, Velma. You look a little grimy, Velma. You're looking grimy, Velma.
For the minivan, which turned out to be a Chrysler Pacifica, revealed that it was registered to none other than Robert Reeves of Durham, the pastor and roommate of the prime suspect, Stephen Randolph. This inevitably left detectives questioning why the minister was on the side of I-540 at 1:30 in the morning.
The facts. Now, Stephen Randolph, the ball player nigga, he the prime suspect because the condom found inside of her dead body was his. So I guess that scratched the husband out all the way because they're not even mentioning the husband no more.
The potential answer to this question would only highlight that this case had more twists than originally thought. Latrice had been brutally stabbed over 40 times in her face, neck, chest, and abdomen.
Trooper says it was the ball player. That's what Trooper says. Trooper says it was the ball player. Who was it, y'all? Let me know. Let me know. Sherlock Wader is on the fucking case. Sherlock Wader is on the case. You know what I mean? We got the prime suspects out this bitch. 40 times this young lady was stabbed. No bueno.
In the midst of the investigation, detectives uncover Latrice's steamy affair with mystery man Stephen Randolph, and now a minister may be involved. This was a violent and deeply personal crime. Neither Stephen Randolph's nor his girlfriend Velma's alibis were airtight. Now detectives are wondering, what connection could the pastor have had to her murder? It's evident that detectives now need to bring Pastor Reeves back in for questioning. With Trooper Cooper's statement, not only is Stephen Randolph in the crosshairs of the investigation, but so is Pastor Robert Reeves. So detectives...
A lot of players in this game. It's a lot of players in this one. But Sherlock Wader is on the fucking, know what I mean?
Summoned Robert Reeves back for another round of questioning later that Friday night. As soon as the minister arrives, he finds himself in the hot seat. Detectives cut to the chase. Let's take this from the top, Pastor. Tell us again, what did you do the night of January 29th? Pastor Reeves recounts going to church around 8:15 p.m. and returning home at 11:30 p.m. He asserts that he stayed home after that. However, when detectives press further, asking if he drove his car to I-540 in Raleigh at 1:30 in the morning, the minister stated he wasn't familiar with where Raleigh was located, claiming he did not drive anywhere and was not on the side of I-540 that night. But Pastor Reeves introduces a twist, suggesting that it might have been Stephen who drove his car. He said that...
Woo! The plot thickens again! Trooper Cooper done spotted this nigga's whip. Trooper Cooper spots the other whip. I still don't understand why Trooper Cooper didn't call the police, but, you know,
said that Stephen had his own set of keys and occasionally borrowed his car. To verify his story, police reached out to Pastor Reeves' roommate and sister, Willamay Thorpe. According to the pastor, he attended the River Church that evening, the same church his sister went to. However, when questioned about his whereabouts, the minister's sister contradicted his claim.
Willie Mae? I don't know Willie Mae. What y'all think about Willie Mae? What do you think about Willie Mae? I don't know. She looks a little truthful to me, though.
Saying she didn't see her brother at church that night. And when she finally saw her brother the next day, he would ask her, how was the service? Detective.
Oh, so she didn't even lie for him. She said, nigga, you ain't come to church. Nigga, stop lying. You ain't come to church. But damn, Willie Mae. Snitching on your brother. Snitching on your brother. Willie Mae.
Is now facing a puzzling situation. Is the pastor lying? And if so, why? Is he protecting Stephen Randolph? Or does he have a connection to Latrice's murder? Determined to get to the bottom of things, detectives requested Pastor Reeves roll up his sleeves. During the interrogation, they noticed abrasions on his right hand and arm. When questioned about the scratches, the minister explained that he and Stephen were moving a large desk, and he fell backward, scraping his arm.
They alibis be good, because remember, they just said that Stephen was moving furniture into his spot, you know what I mean, over by the just a few days ago, you heard? You know what I'm saying? Copyright rights and all that good shit. I do not own the rights to this video. This is formal, transformative content. Yeah, transformative content. That's what this is. Transformative content.
He also mentioned that he had a neurological problem and was practically paralyzed in his left arm. Detectives follow with a request that he undress in preparation for investigative photos, and they immediately notice abrasions under his right knee. The detectives then ask for a DNA sample, to which the minister complies. Meanwhile, Stephen Randolph is brought in for a second interview. Detectives get straight to the point, asking if he borrowed the minister's car that night.
I mean, look at Stephen, y'all. Magic Johnson in the face and all that. Young Magic and all that. You know what I'm saying? Looking like Young Magic and all that. He got the eyebrow raised. He like, listen, I had $1 million contract coming up. Don't he look like that? I got $1 million. What? Listen, yeah, better give me the fuck up off this stand and have you the motherfucker up. Yeah, that was my condom. Yeah, that was my condom. It was. Yes, it was. I was with her. Yeah, I was with her. I didn't kill her, but I was with her. Is it possible that because she was going to have your baby and revealed it, that it was going to ruin your chances for your contract, Mr. Randolph? Yup, Sexy J, he looked like he did it, cuz. Yo, cuz, he looked like he did it. He looks like he did it. Velma, you, I don't know, super duper trooper. Yeah. Oh, yeah, look kind of grimy. And Velma. Yeah, let's not forget Velma. Let's not forget Velma.
Night. Stephen admits to borrowing the minister's car, but not recently. He vehemently denies borrowing Bishop's car on that particular night and claimed no recollection of any accident involving the desk. When pressed again, Stephen remains firm in his denial of any accident when moving the desk. But Stephen hinted that he had more to say about the minister.
Thank you, Lady JJ. That's actually a special date for me, 1976. Yeah.
According to Stephen, the minister isn't quite who everyone thinks he is. He described him as a little weird and mentioned instances where the minister invaded his privacy, especially regarding his relationship with Latrice.
Y'all might be right, chat. Y'all might be right. Y'all might be right. The bishop, he was sweet on the ball player. Was the bishop sweet on Young Magic? But don't forget, Stephen Randolph was the one that had the knife collection and the sword collection. Let's not forget. Sherlock Wade Eyes on the case.
One night after Latrice left, the minister acted suspiciously. Stephen claimed that the minister came down to his room and asked if he had been intimate with the woman who had just left. It was Latrice's first visit to Stephen's since he moved in with...
I don't think I like that eyebrow, y'all. Look at that eyebrow. Chat, take a look at Stephen. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, yo, listen, the plot thickens. Look at Steven. He got that look like, listen, I'm on my way to 1.6 million. I'm gonna fuck up off this stand. I'm paying off the judge. I'm paying off the DA. I'm getting away with this.
And with the bishop, Stephen says he admitted to being intimate with her, and that's when things took a strange turn. The minister began asking inappropriate questions, such as whether Stephen had considered being a male escort. As a struggling student, Stephen never considered the idea, but thought it could be a way to make some extra cash. The minister then delved into explicit details, asking about the size of Stephen's private area. He asked him if
Oh no! Hey yo! Hey yo! Right? That's what he looked like, right, Cat? This shit ain't running my. This shit ain't more than my life. That nigga said, yo, that nigga said this shit ain't more than my motherfucking life. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting up out of here. Know what I mean?
if he was clean and to show it to him for inspection and for measuring.
What? If it was clean? Bishop, Bishop, Bishop. Shame on you, Bishop. Shame on you. Shame on you, Bishop. What are you doing? Supposed to be a man of God. What are you doing? Shame on the fucking bishop.
Considered the idea, but thought it could be a way to make some extra cash. The minister then delved into explicit details, asking about the size of Stephen's private area. He asked him if he was clean and to show it to him for inspection and for measuring. The minister began his inspection and noticed that Stephen had not cleaned up from his recent activities.
Hold on a minute. Hold on 1 second. Just 1 second. So the bishop requests for you to back out, man. And you agree to it? And you agree to it? What in the fish grease, backyard, salmon, red snapper is going on here? What the fuck was going on in this home? What was going on in this house?
He asked him about his experiences with men and then told him to go get cleaned up. By this time, Stephen was on to him. Feeling uncomfortable, Stephen declined his advances. Despite...
Hold on, you uncomfortable now? Now you're uncomfortable. You wasn't uncomfortable when this thing was asking all them wild-ass questions. You wasn't uncomfortable when you backed out, man. You wasn't uncomfortable when niggas inspected and measured, man. Pause. But now you're uncomfortable that you put mine away and was just told by the bishop to go wash. That's crazy.
Despite this, over time, the minister persisted, attempting to convince Stephen that with his eyes closed, the experience would be no different than if he were with a woman. The minister even went so far as to offer Stephen free rent in exchange for certain favors. Comfortable, Stephen declined his advances. Despite this, over time, the minister persisted, attempting to convince Stephen that with his eyes closed, the experience would be no different than if he were with a woman. The minister even went so far as to offer Stephen free rent in exchange for certain favors. Stephen promptly rejected these advances, and the minister quickly apologized. But Stephen...
It's too late, Stephen. It's too late. You done backed out, man. It's too late, Stephen. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. You've been measured by a man. What do you mean? It's too late. You might as well go all the way now. You might as well. You was contemplating it, wasn't you, Stephen? Young Magic. Shame on you, Young Magic. Shame on you.
Stephen no longer felt safe there. For his protection, he borrowed a gun from his cousin D'Angelo and slept with it underneath his pillow every night since. Stephen told police that shortly after these incidents, his girlfriend Velma started receiving threatening phone calls. About those threatening calls, detectives asked as they retrieved the recording Velma had shared during her interview. Do you
What in the Greek sauce was going on over there at that fucking house? What the fuck? What the fuck? And still, all of this going on. Rest in peace, Latrice. Did you know anything about all of this stuff, mommy? I mean, remember, this is about the woman, the female, the young girl, stabbed 40 times. All this Greek sauce was going around.
recognize the voice?
I'm sorry about what happened to your car.
Stephen promptly identified that's the bishop.
Oh,
In the recording,
was that the
the
bishop?
voice was offering apologies to her interview. Do you recognize the voice?
I'm sorry about what happened to your car.
Stephen promptly identified that's the bishop. In the recording, the voice was offering apologies to Velma for slashing her.
Did you hear the bishop? Did you hear the bishop? Sherlock Cat is on the scene. Who else said it? Who else said it was the bishop? Whoever said it was the bishop, let me get a blue heart in the chat. Suvi gang in the building. Wait out. This is transformative content. You know what I'm saying? We just reviewing and reacting to the fact that a young lady was stabbed 40 fucking times, then left on the side of the I-540 in broad fucking daylight, and her husband discovered her driving on the way to work. But so far, he's been ruled out as a suspect. At first, he was a suspect. And then they had Velma. I don't know. They had Velma. Where you at, Velma? Look at Velma. They had Velma. Velma looked grimy. I don't care what nobody say. Hustle, man, appreciate you, gang. I couldn't pick up just yet because, I was reacting to this, to the unfortunate death of a young lady stabbed 40 times. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't pick up for you, but I saw your call. I appreciate you, Hustle. Hustle, man, 3.0, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the guard, man. He always checking on Wade Out, you heard? He one of the only niggas on these YouTube streets that, I wouldn't say one of the only, because there's a few brothers, but he's one of the brothers that, that nigga might just hit the motherfucker up on the jack just to say it was cracking. You know what I'm saying? It's never about an intro. It's never about an outro, pause. It's never about a performance somewhere at some show or, it's never about doing anything free.
Ultimately stated that there's no way he could be responsible. According to her, he's not that kind of person. He's a great guy.
Look at Velma. Now remember, she said that the ball player dude was a great guy. You said you got something for me? No doubt. Appreciate it. Now look at the bishop, y'all. Look at the bishop. Look at the bishop. Look at the bishop. NY Nikki baby. Yeah, he did. She does look angry, right? Velma look angry. She don't look like Velma from Scooby-Doo. That's not Velma from Scooby-Doo. Nope. No, it's not. No. Velma. Nope. It's not that Velma. Velma look grimy. But Velma look grimy. Well, hold on. Let's not forget. This is the young lady. You know what I'm saying? That's the young lady. 40 times. Rest in peace to her. That's the young lady. And then you got the husband. The husband look grimy. I don't care what nobody say. That's the husband. Take a good look at the husband, chat. Take a good look. Let's take a look at the husband. Tell me what you think. What do you think? Take a good look at the husband and tell me what do you think. You think he did it? All right. Let me get H's for husband. If you think the husband did it, let me get an H. Let me get an H for husband. Can I get an H for husband? If you think the husband did it, if you think the ball player did it, where you at, Young Magic? Where Young Magic at? Remember, he had a $1 million and change contract coming. Not the husband, but the guy that she was cheating on him with. The ball player. Where you at, ball player? Pause. Know what I'm saying? There we go. Know what I'm saying?
Body was found, Stephen voluntarily walked into the Wake County Sheriff's Office, eager to discuss Latrice's case. But he wasn't alone. Accompanying him was his roommate, Robert Reeves, a local pastor of a small storefront church in Durham. Detectives promptly ushered the two men into separate interrogation rooms.
Now, mind you, this guy who lived this ball playing basketball superstar who's about to get $1 million point something contract is living with a bishop that just measured his mun. He said he felt uncomfortable behind it, right? Then, after that, goes to the precinct with the same guy that he bought a gun for because he said he felt uncomfortable because mine was giving him advances. Look at the bishop. This is the bishop. Trooper, husband on the clear, Trooper 6'9". Look at the bishop. Look at the bishop. Where is the top? Where the rest of his hair at? Pause. Where the rest of his hair at? I mean, he got that yarmulke on his jaw. Pause. But it looked like he got the ill-receding hairline on his jaw. Pause. You're looking guilty, Bishop. You're looking guilty. And then you got Velma. Look at Velma. I'm telling you. I don't know, chat. I don't know, chat. Can I get a V for... Who think Velma did it? Is there a V for Velma? Is there a V for Velma? Is there any V's for Velma? Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I'm saying we trying to figure out who committed this murder. You got stung in the eyelid by a bee. Yeah. Well, I played the lotto today and I ain't win shit. Tell me what else is new. Now look at the superstar, y'all. $1.7 million. His whole career was on the line.
Her interview. Do you recognize the voice?
I just want to say I'm sorry about what happened to your car.
Stephen promptly identified that's the bishop. In the recording, the voice was offering apologies to Velma for selecting to substantiate this information by cross-referencing it with phone records. When detectives requested the minister's phone, the minister went into what he called his man purse and retrieved 2 cell phones from his bag. He declared one was for business and the other he referred to as his fun phone. Detectives grew suspicious that the minister might really be behind the threatening calls to Velma. After reviewing phone records,
The fun phone. The fun phone hustle, man. You know what that means, right? Do anybody know what the fun phone means? You got a high-level basketball player, superstar, about to graduate, get a contract, NBA, all that. And then you got the funny face bishop. You got mean mug Velma. And Trooper Scooper, whatever the fuck his name was. Not Trooper 6'9", Trooper Scooper, whatever his name was. You know? And then the husband. But Empress said the husband is clear.
it was confirmed that the minister had indeed made threatening calls to both Velma and Stephen using his fun phone, dialing *67 to block his number each time. At this
Fun phone go crazy. Fun phone go crazy. Yo, listen. If anybody in the chat, if your homeboy got a phone and he calls it the fun phone, that nigga's suspect. Ladies, if you meet a nigga, I don't care how gangster that nigga look. I don't care how Suvi that nigga think he is, because he ain't one of the Suvies. If he tell you he got a fun phone, you know the rest.
This point in the case, investigations indicated that Robert was deeply jealous of anyone involved with Stephen Randolph due to his infatuation with him. However, the lingering question remained, was he jealous enough to commit murder? As events unfolded, it was revealed that Robert Reeves had been concealing a history of predatory sexual behavior. He had assaulted two other young men, and in 2005, he lured a young man to live with him, attempting to manipulate him with the same male escort narrative he used on Stephen. The minister was living a double life, functioning as both a
This some P. Diddy shit. This some P. Diddy shit. Let me find out you was hanging out with P. Diddy, Bishop. Yo, Bishop, was you hanging out with P. Diddy? How was the parties? How was the parties? Because this shit here, you bugging out. You are bugging out, Bishop. Bishop, sir. Sir. I talk to you, sir? Something wrong with you. You know that? Nasty work. Lied about going to church and all that. Lied on your good Lord's name. Lord have mercy. Full of grace. The Lord is with thee. Blessed thou art our trespasses, or something like that. You know.
A pastor, and a sexual deviant. DNA analysis from Latrice's body and car yielded startling results. Samples from Latrice's right hand contained a mixture of her DNA and that of Stephen Randolph. Further tests revealed that DNA from cuttings of Latrice's underwear and swabs from her intimate areas also matched that of Stephen Randolph. While this raised suspicions, it could be explained by their intimate encounter hours before her death. The most shocking revelation came
Remember, Stephen Randolph is the basketball star.
From the swab on the steering wheel in Latrice's Nissan Sentra. It contained a mixture of Latrice's and the DNA of the minister himself, Robert Reeves. Detectives sought an explanation for the minister's DNA being inside Latrice's car. The answer, according to prosecutors, became crystal clear. When Latrice left Stephen that night, she was followed by the pastor. On the highway, she saw someone familiar flagging her down and was likely convinced to pull over. Robert then pulled up.
Who said the pastor did it? Blue hearts in the chat for what? Put peas in the chat. Peas. For who said the pastor did it? Don't lie now. Can't take your hands up back. Lady JJ and NY Nikki Baby and Empress Cat are watching. Trooper 69's always watching. Don't know if you're lying. Who said it was the pastor or the bishop? Peas and peas.
Up within inches behind her car. She never saw the knife coming. He began attacking her inside the car. Signs of a struggle, including a broken console, a blood-stained seat cover, and blood in the car door frame indicated a violent encounter. Latrice sustained injuries in the car, likely rendering her unconscious but still alive. Robert dragged her from the car to the embankment, causing bilateral abrasions on her back and leaving bloodstains on the cement. The medical examiner said she was still alive. As he struggled to drag her by her feet up the slope of the embankment, she lost one shoe and then another and then a sock. So he likely began pulling the legs of her pants, which caused them to shift from her waist to her hips. There, he continued his violent attack. Latrice had very few defensive wounds.
So this nigga went to rape this young girl because she was having sex with a basketball star that you were renting a room to in your fucking basement. You know what? That's Stephen's fault too. You never should have backed out man. You backed out man and drove man crazy. That's what happened.
Wounds, which indicated to the medical examiner that he likely straddled her, pinning her arms under his knees. Even though he suffers from paralysis in the left arm, he had the strength and rage to kill her using primarily his right hand. Witnesses testified that Latrice's car was parked with flashing hazard lights in the same spot until around 2 a.m. when Trooper Cooper left the scene. This concealed her body from view of passersby. The medical examiner determined Latrice's time of death to be between 1 and 2 a.m. Following her murder, Robert Reeves made numerous calls from Latrice's cell.
This man of the cloth, this pastor, this homosexual pastor stabs this heterosexual 21-year-old woman 40 times. 40 times. And the YouTube streets is worried about fake wars. The world is fucking crazy. I thought I was crazy. I'm not crazy. Nope. I'm totally sane. Motherfuckers like this is crazy.
Cell phone, many of them menacing. He checked her voicemail many times, and at around 1:52 a.m., he called Latrice's best friend Kim, who found the call alarming because it was unlike Latrice to call at that time. Kim stayed on the line for several minutes, calling for Latrice. She could hear footsteps on gravel, strong wind, and the sounds of passing cars, yet Latrice remained silent. Later, Robert called from Latrice's phone. Several times after 2 a.m., Latrice was gone. But when Stephen answered, no one said anything. Prosecutors argued that the DNA on the steering wheel indicated that Robert drove her car half a mile away to the Lewisburg Road exit ramp after the murder. This is supported by Trooper Cooper's account and the testimony of numerous witnesses who observed Latrice's car in one location on the highway, only to find it at a different location, the Lewisburg exit ramp, when her body was discovered at 7.
So what did he do? Did he steal the knives from Steven? Did he steal the knives from the basketball star? Is that what the bishop did? Because remember, there was no murder weapons retrieved. There was nothing, but they do have a lot of DNA from different different people.
7:15 a.m. The minister then walked back to his car, which was parked on the eastbound side of I-540. Each of Robert's roommates had a personal alarm code, with Robert holding the master code. Brink's security system records revealed that he entered and disarmed the system using his master code at 2:33 a.m. on the morning of January 30th. Despite telling police he had returned at 11:30 p.m. the night before and never left afterward. A receipt dated January 30th, discovered during a search, suggested that Robert made purchases that morning, supplies, to dispose of potentially incriminating items with bloodstains. They found burned fibers and a melted trash can. On February 2nd, 2008, just 2 days after the discovery.
There you go, Bishop. Look at the bishop. Look at this man. Look at this man. They said God created man in his image. That's what they said. In the Bible, God wasn't nice. He wasn't nice at all in the Bible, at least my interpretation. He wasn't nice. He wasn't nothing to play with. You created this? Or did the demons get into this nigga's body, both, and drive this fucking man insane? Look at the fucking bishop. The bishop. They ask me why I don't go to church. Wait out. Why you don't go to church? Wait out. All the evil you done did in the world, why you don't go to church? Wait out. All the bad that you have done, why don't you repent? Because there's motherfuckers like him running around. Yeah, him. Man of the cloth, or is he a demon? This is crazy. Look at this man. Look at the fucking bishop. Kirk Bishop stabbed that young girl 40 times. Fuck you, Bishop. Fuck out of here. You stupid. Trace, you need to come slap this nigga right here. Everybody in the dark side need to slap the shit out of Bishop. You a foul motherfucker. Stabbed that girl 40 times. Where was your faith in God? Who are you listening to? Who are you praying to? Who are you talking to at night? Huh? What demons were lurking in your soul? Look at the fucking bishop. Huh, ladies and gentlemen? You know pussy getting fucker? That's what you are. Somebody should break your nose bone, your jaw bone, fracture the left side of the fucking forehead. You're gonna stab that girl 40 times.
Discovery of Latrice Curtis's body, Pastor Robert Reeves faced formal charges for her murder.
The new best way to make money online that nobody's talking about is something you've never heard before. It's using remote automation. So these right here are real paychecks that I've received every month.
Shut up.
After days of investigating, Wake County Sheriff's deputies have their man. Robert Reeves is charged with the murder of NC Central student Latrice Curtis. Her body was found Wednesday morning along I-540. While investigators have not said what relationship Reeves and Curtis had, they do confirm
30th, discovered during a search, suggested that
of NC Central student Latrice
Robert Reeves faced formal charges for her murder.
After days of investigating, Wake County Sheriff's deputies have their man. Robert Reeves is charged with the murder of NC Central student Latrice Curtis. Her body was found Wednesday morning along I-540. Investigators have not said what relationship Reeves and Curtis had. They do confirm the pair knew each other. News of Reeves' arrest is just reaching his family in South Carolina.
He was energetic. He was a go-getter. Like I said, he was just not a murderer.
In fact, Reeves has a long history of working as a pastor. In the mid-'80s, he was pastor of the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church in South Carolina. Current pastor there says he took over for Reeves after Reeves faced sex allegations in 1987. Court records show he was convicted. Do confirm the pair knew each other. News of Reeves' arrest.
Yo, look at Shorty. She don't, yo, the female officer. Now they say officers take charge. She ain't even looking at this nigga. She's disgusted at this nigga. I don't fuck with cops. I don't like security guards. I don't like crossing guards. I don't like hall monitors. I don't like class presidents. I don't like trustees. None of that shit. None of that shit. But look at Homegirl's grill. She can't even look at this nigga because he's disgusting. He's despicable. Look at this nigga. Look at this nigga with his Dolce & Gabbana glasses on and all that. No good. No bueno, homie. This is the bishop. This is what God created. I got a point to all of this at the end of all this. Anyway, you know? Good looking, Empress. Appreciate you.
Is just reaching his family in South Carolina.
He was energetic. He was a go-getter. Like I said, he was just not a murderer.
In fact, Reeves has a long history of working as a pastor. In the mid-'80s, he was pastor of the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church in South Carolina. The current pastor there says he took over for Reeves after Reeves faced sex allegations in 1987. Court records show he was convicted of third-degree sex charges the next year.
That was his past. I thought, he rose above that.
His cousin says she thought Reeves had turned his life around. She says he's currently a bishop at a church in Durham. Deputies still maintain a presence outside his Durham home. Neighbors say he moved there 6 months ago and never expected this to happen in their own backyard.
During the prosecution's opening arguments, a disturbing narrative unfolded, depicting a man who had developed an escalating obsession with Stephen Randolph. This fixation, prosecutors asserted, escalated into a violent rage on the night of January 29, 2008. The
funny thing is, there was another devil in the courtroom trying to get this nigga off for this. You stabbed this girl 40 times, homie. Money make everything. Money make the world go round. Like I said, there's a point to all of this.
Force behind this rage was a potent mix of jealousy and unrequited advances toward Stephen. He wanted Latrice out of the way so that he could have a chance. Following a 2-week trial and 2 days of deliberation, the jury concluded that the state had successfully...
Then Velma must have just been a thotty. Velma was the thotty then. All right, Velma, I take it back, Velma. I take it back, Velma. I take it back. You was just a thotty in a situation. That's all. I take it back, but he was digging you down. You didn't want to admit it, but he was digging you down. Yes, he was. Still look grimy, too. Can't take that away, you know? But some people are born the way that they look. I was born how I talk. You was born how you look. I take it back, Velma.
He presented evidence establishing beyond a reasonable doubt that Robert Reeves was responsible for the murder of Latrice Curtis. Robert Lee Adams Reeves pleaded not guilty, but was ultimately convicted of first degree murder of the beautiful North Carolina Central University student, Latrice Trell Curtis.
Mr. Jones, that must have been a bittersweet. Sorry, come on.
Girl, cigarettes. Smoke mad cigarettes, mad blunts, shots of Remy. Your voice would be just like this. But I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 10. Know what I mean? I've been smoking blunts since I was 11. Drinking beer since I was 10. Drinking liquor. Know what I mean? Pete Cisco since I was 12. 40s of OE and all that. St. Ives and all that. You heard? But as the years go on, they're going to sound just like me. And ladies, if you keep smoking cigarettes, they're going to sound like me too.
Come on over here. You get your son. I know this is difficult. This is your son.
Right, Lady J. She was married and cheating like crazy though. Like she was. I mean, rest in peace, Latrice. Rest in peace. But sister she was doing her. She didn't deserve to get murdered for that. Especially because she never even slept with the fucking bishop. She wasn't even sleeping with you, you fucking weirdo. She wasn't even sleeping with you, and you the nigga that stabbed her 40 times. You are, sir, a psychopath, sir. Sir, you are a psychopath, sir. You are a psychopath, sir. You have your scruples backwards, sir. They should have gave him the death penalty for this. They should have. If I ever do anything in any life that I ever live, because I do believe that we die and come back, pause, crucify me like they did supposedly Jesus. Supposedly. Allegedly.
Emotionally, it's taking every day. Sleep, eat. It's almost like reliving a year and 8 months ago all over again. But the best thing about this is I got closure this time. There's no more waiting, no more wondering. Now I know. Maybe now. I'm trying to get things back together. The emotions, just the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened to Trooper. I have no idea what happened to Trooper. Look how sad this father is. That's his baby girl. That's his baby girl. Rest in peace to that, to that woman's family and everything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to that young lady, man. Regardless of what she was doing. Regardless of what she was doing. Regardless of what she was doing. Nobody had the right to stab her 40 times. See, the whole point to this, and why, Nikki, everyone in the chat, is that it's a lot of fucking evil in the world. And the dark side is dark. But to the dark side, really understand that it's darker everywhere else too. Everywhere else too. Look at this young lady. 40 times. 40 times. Watch your daughters. Watch your nieces. Watch your wives. Pay attention. See, because this young lady, regardless of what she was doing, who knows what her husband was doing? Maybe her husband was a piece of shit. Maybe he worked. Yeah. Maybe he paid half the rent. Maybe he paid all the rent. Who knows? Maybe he didn't treat her well. Maybe she wasn't close to that nigga and she got cool with the fucking basketball star. Who knows? But the people that you love, you keep close to you. And you protect them as much as you can and try to treat them the best you can. And we don't always do it. We don't always do it. So, With that being said, rest in peace to this girl, Latrice. Everybody bow their fucking heads. Bow your fucking heads. Thank you. Rest in peace to this girl, Latrice. So whoever the fuck is up there, because I don't know who it is. I don't know if you're a man, or if you're a woman. I don't know if you love me. I don't know if I love you. And I don't know if you love any of us in this chat. But one thing is for certain, if you are around, whoever you are, whatever God you pray to, I want you to bless this young lady's family, hold her soul in there. I want you to bless the chat. I want you to bless my family. I don't deserve half the love I get, but I get it, and I appreciate it. Even if I don't always show it. So keep giving me pain. Keep giving me life. Keep giving me dreams. Keep giving me hope. Keep giving me death. Because I'm built for it all. Salute to the chat. Amen.